Hello and welcome to the Class Experiment. Kind of in the middle of a snowstorm. It's not currently snowing too bad. I'm snowshoeing through about a good 2 feet that we've accumulated here. You can hear snowmobiles in the background along with my neighbor's tractor snowblower. So, DBDR, a guy who I was not familiar with until a couple of days ago when one of my viewers suggested that I do a reply video, but his channel doesn't exist anymore, which I'm assuming they knew that. Looks like he took everything down last year. And according to a couple of Reddit posts, he's still around. A lot of people thought that maybe he had self-deleted due to the nature of his content, which is a lot of black pill stuff, which I guess is what this video is going to be about. I have a feeling a bunch of stuff is going to be falling on me as I go in here. So, DBDR. Watched one of his videos today. Seems to be the type of content where people play video games and they talk and they record, they get their thoughts out there. Dude definitely had a slightly different life from mine. He was talking about how his mom was 38 when she had him, and how he has a feeling that, you know, older parents don't exactly have the same patience or mentality of doing the job of parenting, blah, blah, blah. Can't say take offense to it, but my oldest daughter, she was born when I was 38. Whether or not that will have any repercussions against her, I don't think it has to do with the age of the parents. I think it has a lot to do with society and the social norms, the generation gap between what is acceptable for their kids and what was acceptable for them growing up, because there's definitely a disconnect there. Dude definitely had issues with society and dating, you know, the inability to meet women. From what I saw on Reddit, there was stuff about he had like excessively low testosterone, which is actually pretty common these days, especially amongst guys who are inactive, have a poor diet, don't get any type of regular exercise. Depressants will have a lot to do with lower testosterone. So it's not hard to figure out where things were heading with this guy. From what I saw on Reddit, he's apparently living out of his car. He had shut down his channel due to apparently being blackmailed by someone who eventually gave out his information anyways, which is usually how blackmailing goes, right? Because it's not they're trying to make money off of your secrets. It's that they want to screw you over, and they want to doubly screw you over. They want to get something from you, but then at the same time, they're also going to ruin your life. It's usually how that plays out. And it sounds like that's what happened with this guy. I could be wrong. The whole Reddit thread could be bullshit. As far as I know, this guy could actually be deceased. What I took from his video is that this guy had a serious bout of depression. Probably still does. There was a lot of justifications for his depression. Some of it, I'll admit, was probably justified. You know, he was talking about a lot of the same stuff I talk about here when it comes to society, dating, women's expectations. If you're a certain type of dude, good luck. There's a lot of guys here on YouTube that are having that discussion where DBDR referred to them as sub 5s, guys who are a 5 out of 10 or below, right? Oh, you just need to have a good personality. You need to have this, you need to have that. You can still get the girl. The sad thing is, women who are a 5 or below, who sometimes shop at 5 below, are still trying to get 8s, 9s, and 10s. Because their friends feed into this delusion of you are what you think you are. If you think that you're a 5, you're a 5. If you fake it as a 10, you'll make it as a 9. I might be catching whatever my kid and my wife has currently. Back of my throat hurts. Keep getting this cough, so don't be surprised. I was hoping that going snowshoeing, getting out, might help it. I have a feeling it's agitating it more. So, the thing that I took from his video is that this guy was black-pilled on everything. Serious bout of depression. With him logically trying to argue his way out of staying depressed. Or into staying depressed, I should say. Pretty sure I said that wrong the first time. Because he wasn't talking about doing anything that would actually seriously help him in this state. Talked about drinking. He was talking about basically just giving up on the opposite sex, which I think men really just need to do anyways. And this isn't from a black pill perspective. This is from a forget them. Just absolutely forget them, okay? This is the you do you boo philosophy, okay? I think it is a good idea to have a black pill vision of what society is these days, but to have a positive outlook on yourself, because that's the only thing you have control over. You may be a 5, right? Looks wise, you may be a 5. Do you want to stay a 5? That's what you should be asking yourself. And there's a lot of guys out there that just have the attitude of, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks of me. And they tend to have a really good outcome when it comes to the opposite sex. I've come across several of those dudes, and they usually have a pretty faithful girlfriend who sticks around, because this dude, in the art of not giving a shit about pretty much anything, is able to take care of business. He does not let people mess around with him. Anybody talks shit, he takes care of it. Nobody takes advantage of them at work. And the dude, physically, visually, is probably a 5 or a 6. Now, is his girlfriend anything that you would want to mess around with if she was single? Is this somebody that you would probably pick up? No. But still, he has his girl. And I've known plenty of guys like that. So there's a guy, his YouTube handle, I think that's what it's called, the @ and then there's his name, Raymond Sycamore. Raymond, I think it's like Mind and Thoughts or Thoughts and Mind, something like that. Posted a picture recently of all the food that he bought from people doing the man, what do they call that? It's the where they pay to have their comments read. I'm drawing a blank on it because I've never had it happen to me. Of course, you also have to have your channel approved and verified and all that stuff. And do live streams. You got to do live streams. But he was like, this is all the food I bought from the money that people gave me for super chats. There we go. Good Lord, sometimes it just takes a while. I've been busy this morning. And it was like tubes of beef and just, it was really, when I looked at it, it was really like the classic bodybuilder diet, because it was very low carbs, a lot of protein, aside from the protein, fat. And this was what bodybuilders would eat in order to build mass, but they didn't have the extended gut. They didn't have the there's some bodybuilders these days that you'd swear it was a beer gut, except they have a six-pack on the outside. They don't have the inflammation. I know a lot of guys these days are like the boiled chicken, the green beans, and the brown rice. And I'm like, why the rice? Why rice? You know there's arsenic in that shit, right? So I made a comment to him about how, like, we need to get you jacked. And he was like, I don't give a fuck about the opposite sex. I'm done. And I'm just like, you do it for yourself. There's a guy in Japan. He got married young, in his 20s. And like 10, 15 years later, his wife tells him that she no longer wants to be with him. She doesn't find him attractive. That, you know, when he was young, he was handsome and he had a future, but now he's got the same job and he's bald and he's out of shape. And she left him. She went and divorced his ass. Any story that you can find on YouTube, right? It's always the same damn story. How he handled it is what makes the story different. So what he did was, they got divorced. He was out on his own, obviously. And he decided, well, if I'm going to be bald, I'm going to be bald. Completely shaved his head. No horseshoe haircut, none of that bullshit. No comb over. Completely shaves his head. Starts going to a gym. So he goes to the gym. He starts hanging out with the bodybuilders there. And he's like, hey, I want to learn to do what you do. A couple years later, he's competing in these bodybuilding competitions. And like in his 40s and 50s, he's winning for his age and weight class. He ends up marrying or meeting a model at one of these competitions. They start dating. They get married, and whereas with his first wife, they never had kids or anything, this dude started all over. He started all over. He was older, but he took care of himself, decided to work on himself. And I'm not saying this will work for everyone, right? But to give a shit about however other people look at you, oh, the opposite sex wants nothing to do with me. Who the fuck cares? If it's a bunch of shady, self-serving bitches, why would you care about their opinion? Seriously. You need to ask yourself this. Why are you putting so much time and effort into what these other people think about you? Well, they're out, they're banging Chad. Uh-huh. So why would you give them the time of day? I saw another video earlier today, and it was this girl that she got home from this date. And she was super excited, and I don't know if it was her friends or her parents that were filming her reaction, but it starts out funny because she's like, yeah, we ended up back at his place and he wanted to show me his basement. And they were like, you don't go to the dude's basement on the first date. What is wrong with you? And she's like, no, you don't understand. Like, he was completely remodeling the whole thing, and it was turning into this whole separate apartment that he was going to be renting out, and had these barn doors in there, and everything looked amazing. He did it all himself. And they're all kind of like, okay. And, you know, there's some laughing in the background because they're like, this just sounds crazy. And she's like, plus he's got this decent job, and it's not all that great, but he's investing in this house, and he drives a 2021, I forget what the car was, but it was a newer car, something she was impressed with. And she's like, it was nice and clean, and like he kept it presentable. And then she was all impressed with the house and everything, and she finishes up with like, I could get used to this. Dude was just taking care of his own business. People notice when you take care of your own business. If you're out there whining and complaining that other people have not taken care of the wrongs that you see in the world, that's not exactly an attractive look, okay? Nobody likes a whiny bitch. Do you like hanging out with a whiny bitch? And if you can't think of who the whiny bitch is in your group, if you hang out with a group of people, it might be you. I wish somebody would pay off my student loans. How about you get off your ass and pay off your own fucking student loans? Take some accountability and some responsibility for your actions. Learn how to think for yourself. If there's anything that these people with the student loan debt should have learned from that experience, do not trust other people. Think for yourself. Question authority. Tool made that album for a reason. They were quoting that guy for a reason. Bill Hicks. There's a reason they put him in that CD. There is a message there that you were supposed to pick up. If you were too busy listening to Alanis Morissette and the Cranberries and all that other bullshit, well, you kind of got what you deserved. I like Matchbox 20. Unfortunately, I have to admit, I actually bought tickets to Matchbox 20 back in 1998 and saw them at Wing Stadium. I'll admit it. Yes, it was for my high school girlfriend. And I had the album on tape. Guilty as charged. And look where I'm at now. So DBDR. He talks about going to therapy. I talked on another video about therapists and how it's really fucking hard to find a good one. As for his low testosterone, there's things that he can do. The important thing is to actually take action. Sitting in front of a computer, playing video games and bitching to the world about the state of things and how there's just no purpose to everything. And as you get older, there's less and less to look forward to. If you're not making goals for yourself, yeah, that's true. He's the one that put himself there in that situation. He's the one that needs to pull himself out. Nobody is coming to save you. It's a really good book that just came out recently. I've got a review of it on here. You can probably find it doing a quick YouTube search. But that's the idea. Scott Mann, Army Green Beret, gets dropped off in the middle of nowhere, has to work with the natives in order to fight against their mutual enemy. He is literally stuck in a position where nobody is coming to save them, and it is up to him and his men to make sure that everyone is safe. That's how you have to look at life. The government is not coming to save you. Regardless of what all the Trump people say, this is 4 years. It's all going to change in 4 years. You still have to look out for your own ass. Have a black pill vision of the world. Don't trust anyone. If you do find somebody you can trust, hold on to them. Because they are fucking rare these days. And even then, I have a friend that we knew each other for over a decade. And then the whole Trump thing happened. And when it came to 2020, that was our divide. I knew what Biden was capable of. I saw the writing on the wall with his mental health, and this dude was just like, I'm tired of the drama. I just want grandpa in office. I love my grandpa. And that's how I view Biden. We did not have the same grandpa. I love my grandpa too, but grandpa was not running the house. So that was the end of our friendship, I think. I'm pretty damn sure. I haven't talked to the guy in years now. I moved. I tried staying in touch. Wrote him letters from time to time. And eventually just never heard back. Couple of intense interactions online. Mostly me asking him as a medical professional about certain things I was reading about, and he pretty much told me I was a fucking idiot and to fuck off, and I was in a cult and all this other bullshit. You have no idea. I worked in the COVID ward. Well, if you had people on ventilators, you fucking killed people. That's just the honest truth right there, dude. Keep following orders. The ventilator will be known as the as the gas chamber of the 2020s. That's what that's going to be known as. 15% survival rate. Okay. That sounds like a great fucking treatment. Everyone else is just sent home. I understand black pill. I do. Don't apply it to yourself.